Okay, hello everyone. Uh, we are fastly approaching the end of the semester. We're supposed to graduate this course, hopefully safely well. Okay. Uh, as we know, this is the course work. Please turn on your video and for presenters, I want you to interact with her and question and answer together through this Zoom seminar. Okay. Every Wednesday is a greatly happy moment to me because I can meet the very well-known professors and scholars from all over the world, and I can be able to learn from them about the new research topic and methodology. And also is some of the invited guest speakers haven't met before yet. So it's kind of good social, you know, uh, relationship I can build up. Okay, today 10 o'clock. Today I am inviting Professor SoJung Lee from Iowa. Dr. SoJung Lee is a full professor in apparel events and hospitality management department, director of graduate education of hospitality management, and the director of club research lab at Iowa State University. 1, 2, 3, 4 directors. Wow, multimodal directors. Our research agenda primarily focus on consumer behavior in pop culture, tourism, and club industry. You should come to Seoul and let's go to the Hongdae Club together. From psychological perspective. Wow, psychological perspective. Current research project include member behaviors. This is club member behaviors, both club and fan settings, luxury service and experience. Professor Lee has mentored over 2 graduate students as a major professor, secured approximately $300,000 in research funding, and published more than 40 academic papers and 10 industry articles. It delivered over 200 presentations at academic and professional conference. Okay, please welcome Professor SoJung Lee, Korean way, Lee SoJung 교수님. Thank you for stage goes to you. You can managing the time 1.5 hours and Q&A 30 minutes, but it's up to you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ku.
Great.
Okay, so can everyone see my presentation PowerPoint?
Yes, but it's small. Please make change to large.
Okay, let's see. Probably need to switch.
Good.
It's good now?
Yes, yes.
Give me a second.
Very well.
Let's see, very. Okay, great. Okay, so okay, so good morning, everyone. I'm SoJung Lee, a professor at Iowa State University. It's a really great pleasure and honor to be here today. First, I really like to thank Dr. Ku for inviting me. And as I introduced, I'm working in Iowa State University, and those are my titles. So a little bit about my education background. I did my undergraduate in food and nutrition in business administration as a minor at Yonsei University. Just give me a second. And I did my master's in hotel administration at UNLV, University of Nevada, Las Vegas. And also I did my PhD in hospitality administrations at UNLV. So when Dr. Koo invited me to speak today, I was really honored and a little bit reflective. So I started thinking about what I want to share with you. In fact, I have watched some previous guest speakers and give some inspiring talk and cutting edge topics, research trends, and innovation methods. So honestly, I was so impressed, and want to say that you guys really incredibly lucky to be learning from some of the most respected minds in our field. So after some thought, I decided to take a slightly different approach. So today, I'd like to share something a little bit more about my personal story and research because I've been where many of you are now, like full of questions, navigating uncertainty or feeling of overwhelm at times. So I'll be blending my personal journey with my research path and sharing some of the lessons that I've learned along the way. So I hope you enjoy my presentations, but also find some encouragement, motivation, and a few useful takeaways. Okay, so my personal story has 4 phases. So let's start with the phase one, my undergraduate years. I entered college in 1994, a year often referred half jokingly, half seriously, as the cursed class of 1994. In Korean, 저주받은 구사학번. So what caused, well, that year, Korean government introduced the first ever national college entrance exam. It's called the 수능. And not just once, we had take twice, once in August and again in December. And I will be honest, my score were not that great. And make things harder, if you wanted to apply to top schools like Seoul National University or the Yonsei University, I also had to take their own separate entrance exams, like called 본고사. So yes, I had to take 3 entrance exams and just get into the college, and it was exhausting. But thankfully, I was admitted to Yonsei University. And toward the end of college, I decided to take 1 semester off to study English in Canada, a decision I was really excited about. But while I was abroad in late 1997, Korea was hit by IMF financial crisis. Have any of you heard about it? Anybody remember? Yeah, Dr. Koo, yes. So it was a difficult time for South Korea, and when I came back from Canada, there was no jobs. The economy was unstable, and the future felt uncertain. Like many of my classmates, I felt completely lost. And there's a movie called Default that captures it. The movie really brings back the reality of these days. So that's why we still call ourselves the cursed class. So how many of you have you watched the Reply 1994? 응답하라. 유리다. If you have seen this drama, you will understand exactly what I mean. In fact, the set on the Yonsei campus was where I studied, and it tells the story of my generation, the pressure, the change, and resilience. So moving into phase two, which I call from lost to vault. After graduating, I promised myself that I would gain diverse experience before turning 30. At the time, jobs were scarce, so I started as an intern at Seoul Arts Center, even though I knew almost nothing about classical music. only thing that I did was a classical listening club in my high school. But I wanted to try to something new and unique, so I said yes. It truly opened my eyes to a performing arts world, and also later on, I moved to another performing arts agencies. Then a year later, in 2001, a friend from KBS broadcast company had started a venture company in 2001 and invited me to join as a marketing director thanks to my business minor. The company focused on online broadcasting using webcam technology, which was very new at the time. So I worked with the drama writers, like producers, creatives. They're all crazy, but unconventional people. But I really loved their energy. Um, for a while, it was very exciting. It had investors, big ideas, momentum. But like many startups, we struggled to generate revenue quickly. So within a year of the company closed. So as you see this figure, the figure shows that I follow the trend from like very high, but then all the way fall down. So it was like a tough ending, but I learned so much about creativity, innovation, the value of detours, and also about myself. I'm a people person. Then another opportunity came my way. So how many of you remember 2002 FIFA World Cup?
Mhm.
How old were you? So South Korea preparing to host the 2002 FIFA World Cup, and they were recruiting for VIP protocol managers. So I was so excited, and I applied, and I called them about the interview opportunity. Then the director told me that they are hiring only men, not women, because the job is very physically demanding. And I was stunned, and honestly, I felt it was not fair. So I responded it, challenged him a little bit. In this era and society, it is a discrimination, and you should provide equal opportunity. So please give me a chance to interview. So he could not say no. So I had opportunity for interview, and thankfully I must have made a good impression. So I was hired. So it turned out to be one of the most unforgettable experiences in my life, as I worked at the center of global mega event, managing VIPs, coordinating volunteers, and actually stayed in the Hyatt Hotel for more than a month during the game and traveling between matches. So as many of you remember, 2002 FIFA World Cup was a really huge, huge success, and I'm proud to say I was part of it. So after spending 4 years exploring different industries from performing arts to startup to global events, I began to notice something. There was a clear gap between what I studied, food and nutrition, and what I actually experienced in the real world. So I felt a strong urge to bridge the gap. So I decided to pursue a master's degree, even though I wasn't sure which field to choose at first. Then it clicked. While working at the Performing Arts Center, I noticed a hotel operated restaurant right inside the venue. And during FIFA World Cup, I witnessed how large-scale tourism worked in real time. So that's when I realized that hospitality was the link that I've been missing. So I applied to graduate programs and I was fortunate to admit to UNLV. So my plan was always to return to industry after graduations because I loved working with the people, planning big events, and being in the middle of the action. But to my surprise, actually, I found myself very fascinated by research, especially while working on my thesis. and even thought maybe one day later I will go for a PhD after I work a little bit. So, and actually I accepted a job in hotel areas in Korea. So, the interview was good. So I was hired. So I packed up all things, and my younger sister actually flew to Las Vegas to help me to move home. But just before I left, I got a phone call that changed everything. The boss who hired me, just got fired by the hotel owners, and the job offer just canceled. So I was shocked, completely lost. I didn't know what to do. Didn't want to talk about things to anyone else. But somewhere deep down, I thought maybe this is the moment. Try something new, different. Maybe this is time for my PhD. So I threw myself into preparing for the GMAT exam. So for 3 weeks, all I did was study, eat, sleep. I stayed quiet and focused. At the end, I got a strong score, thankfully. So I applied to PhD program. So I got in at UNLV. So the closed door turned out to be a redirection, a defining moment that launched me into academia, shaped my path where I'm on right now. So after I was admitted to the PhD program, something totally unexpected happened. I met my husband when he came to Las Vegas on his business trip, and by chance we ended up sitting next to each other at an event.
Oh,
And a year later, even before I started my PhD, I got married.
oh,
Then another
opportunity.
surprise, during my PhD, I had two daughters. Was it planned? Not really. Was it easy? Absolutely not. Trying to study, write, conduct research while raising two small kids was incredibly difficult. And to make things even more complicated, um, my husband was running a business in Korea. So much time we were living on like a long distance. But thankfully, I had help. My mother, my mother-in-law came to US at different times to help me. Honestly, I couldn't have done my study without them, so I'm really deeply, deeply grateful. It took me 5 years to complete my PhD, and there are so many moments I questioned myself. Why am I doing this? Why am I trying to become a professor? It wasn't for money, it wasn't for prestige. That phase of my life was kind of chaotic, unpredictable, and exhausting. But in the midst of it, one thing kept me grounded was I truly love research. That passion, more than anything else, is what carried me through. Even when everything around me felt overwhelming, research gave me direction, purpose, and joy. So now I'd like to shift into my research journey, which aligned with my personal story. As you see a list of research topics that I worked on over the years, what do you think? Be honest. Does it look simple or a little bit messy? Maybe Dr. Ku said,
It's
right?
diversity, colorful,
Diversity. Yeah. So I use
uh,
different colors, right? Yeah.
sense of appealing,
Sense of feeling. Thank you.
mhm. And minor, major, heterogeneous dining.
Okay, great. So yeah, it's like a diverse mix of unrelated things here. So you might want to say, yeah, this looks all over the place. Yeah. I feel the same way. But from the next slides, I want to show how these topics have actually been aligned over time. So when I started my undergrad studies, I was really interested in food service industry. So I kept asking myself, how could Korean food become global? That curiosity eventually became a focus of my senior project in 1997. So to graduate, I had to write a mini proposal. So I started interviewing owners of Korean restaurants, like chains like Hanuri was one of a popular one, and they are expanding their restaurant into like Japan and China. So I had to, and actually I had so much fun in doing project. Do anyone remember when Korean government formally began promoting globalizations of Korean food? Dr. Koo or someone else? Can you guess?
Something strange project. Han Han식 something.
Yeah. 한식의 세계화, like,
Ah,
right?
okay, right.
Globalization Korean food.
Right. Tons of money they are spending on that project, and I don't know how much that the result they got achieved. But anyway, I still remember that stuff.
Yeah, it was like in 2008 and 9
Uh,
under the president Lee Myung-bak, right?
that's
When
right.
the
That's
food
right.
globalization project was launched.
Great
So considering
president.
the time, right, I like to think of my project in 1997 as a kind of frontier research. Can I say that? Yeah. So truly, that project gave me my first real taste of research, and I was hooked. So fast forward to graduate school at UNLV, I had a choice either thesis or non-thesis track. And with my experience, taste of research, I chose this as the option because I wanted to connect what I had studied, food and nutrition, with my real world experience in event and tourism. So around that time in the United States, there was a huge low carb diet boom. So like Atkins diet, like say Hwangji diet in Korean. So basically, people eating no bread. The restaurant has no bun, but only like lettuce and like meat in the hamburger. So I start to wonder how do the business travelers manage or abandon their diets while traveling.
Mm.
So even living in Las Vegas, surrounded by conventions and business travelers, I saw a perfect opportunity. So I designed a study. I went to conferences, talked to people, invite them to participate in the survey, and I was very fascinated seeing a real trend turning into question, collecting data, analyzing, and presenting the results. So that process, I really loved the process. It may have been a small project, but it made me feel like I was contributing to something meaningful. That's when I realized that I didn't just didn't enjoy research, but actually I love the whole process from the curiosity to connection, from observation to insight. So based on this, my thesis, actually I published one paper. It's called Business Travelers Diet Practice. This was my first publications. So that's how my story as a researcher truly began, with a question about Korean food and growing fascinating with the food, culture, and tourism intersect. Then during my PhD, my research took a new turn into pop culture tourism, inspired my husband's work in entertainment industry. So I had a front row seat to words of celebrities and more importantly, to their fans. I still remember one event clearly. It was a pop star event, like it's called a summer camp, and the pop stars hosted the event, inviting several fans from China, Japan, and other countries. So they flew to Korea to attend the event. Can you guess who this guy is? He is the pop star.
Hmm. No. Hmm.
He is a part of, I'm going to give you some hints. He is a part of a first generation that brought Korean wave to China and
Uh,
Asian countries.
hmm.
And he is an actor and singer. And became really popular in a drama
Hmm.
with a word star in the title.
Hmm. Hmm.
Do you remember A 별은 내 가슴에, Star in My Heart?
No.
Anyone remembers? His name is An Jae-uk.
Hmm.
Yeah, some of you may know him. Okay, so fans are really crazy to travel for him, and they or experience Korean as destinations. So I was curious and did interviews to understand their fandom and how it shaped their destination image. And eventually, it became a publication at TM. It was during my PhD. Then that experience shaped my core dissertation, titles From Fandom to Tourism. I particularly interested in their motivation behind why and how fandom is transferred to tourism. So I employed a theoretical foundation called self-expansion theory to understand fans' unique characteristics. So this research process was very fascinating and rewarding. For the survey, as fans were mostly from Japan or China, so I translated the survey into Japanese and Chinese, and to my surprise, fans volunteered to help me. So they translated and distributed within the fan communities and even encouraged people to participate in. Even though the survey was over 30 minutes long, they didn't mind and they were very excited to share their fandom, their love, their
Hmm.
loyalty. I truly enjoyed the whole process. And
Hmm.
then I graduated and published this piece in Towards Management.
Hmm.
So this chapter really, from my research, connect the food in tourism and pop culture tourism through the lens of tourism and especially travel behavior. So after finishing my dissertation on pop culture tourism, I still deeply fascinated by the fan travel behavior. So I continue exploring how destination image is formed, how place attachment develops, especially from the pop star fans' perspectives. So this work was later published in like Journal of Travel and Tourism Marketing. And my next study focused on fans' travel decision making, combining two theories: model of goal-directed behavior, how desire and intention shape action, and IDA model, attention, interest, desire, action from advertising theory. So this decision-making study was later published in JTR, one of the top-tier journals. Then my next project looked at the celebrity endorsement and how it influences destination image, particularly focusing on BTS as a global icon. How many of you are armies here? So I used the meaning transfer theory from to explore how celebrity symbolic meaning transfers to destination. And I actually added self-expansion theory from my dissertation to examine how fans' unique psychological perspectives can shape destination perceptions. And it was published in Towards Management Perspectives. So within pop culture tourism, I focused on star fans travel, how fans travel across countries for concerts, events, and destinations through connections of fan behavior. And of course, I didn't do alone. While I led this project, I had the pleasure of collaborating with wonderful colleagues. For example, Dr. SoJung Lee and Dr. Hak Jun-soo from the Kyung University. And I believe some of you may know them. And this collaboration remind me of something I truly believe. Collaborations broaden our perspectives and deepens our research. And when my research further expanding from the fan behavior into consumer behavior in tourism, starting with some powerful moment one evening, I watched a documentary called Humonio. It's about the elephant killed for ivory. So it's kind of sad, heartbreaking story. But I was quite impressed about one facility that, sanctuary in Thailand. It's called Elephant Nature Park, where elephants were protected and loved. So it made me wonder, how do ethical tourism experiences like this affect tourist behaviors? So that led a study on elephant-based tourism. So I looked at the TripAdvisor reviews, which was the first time for me to conduct text-based study using like topic modeling and sentiment analysis. So I collaborated with colleagues in data analytics and computer science to conduct this study. And the findings, tourists who had ethical tourism experiences reported greater psychological well-being and also travel satisfaction. And this paper was published in Tourism Management Perspectives. Then I turned my attention to rural tourism as I live in Iowa, Iowa State University. So how many of you actually heard about Iowa? How many of you actually visited? Dr. Ku mentioned you just passed over, right? So do you know where is it located? Is say in the middle of nowhere.
Nowhere.
So yeah, so when I came to from Las Vegas, I was not sure if I like it, it's very, very different. But it turned out that I like it because it is quiet but nice and peaceful place, especially to raise kids.
Okay.
Yeah. And in rural areas, like rural festivals and like events are big things. And these are often powered by a small group of volunteers. So I want to understand what motivates these volunteers and how do they feel connected to their community? Because rural areas nowadays facing some aging issues and younger generations move out. So with USDA grant collaborations with colleagues in Iowa, actually Michigan State and Kansas State University, we studied together to look at the volunteers' motivations, their psychological ownership, and their community support and involvement. So it was great rewarding opportunities for us to look at our rural areas, and we had the opportunity to publish this paper at the Current Issues in Tourism. So with these two studies, it seemed not really much related to my research stream, but I can share that understanding people is consumer behavior in tourism context. And one core thread in my research has been exploring consumer behaviors in tourism, especially through the lens of sustainability. So I spent years studying what motivates or prevents travelers from engaging in poor environmental behaviors. So one only study applied the model of goal-directed behaviors to examine how visitors interact with Iowa's wetlands, a beautiful but not often overlooked nature space. And with my PhD student, Dr. Eun Park, she was actually a master graduate from Kyung University. I don't know
Mhm.
if Dr. Koo knows her.
No.
Uh, okay, but we look at, their pro-environmental behaviors.
Okay.
And also, we expanded the research using two different theoretical models, the VBN, Value Belief Norm Theory, and Modified Norm Activation Model. So these help us to explore how internal values and social norms influence sustainable tourism behaviors. And with collaborations with other professors and colleagues. And in another study, we all applied VIP model, value, identity, and personal norms to examine how destination perceived social responsibility affects travelers' moral identity and choices. So this study highlight destination social responsibility as an important moderator in the process. And also we look at the volunteer, the tourists using VBN again with Dr. Lee from the Kyung University, but also his students. So we look at how volunteers art tourism is an important factor in the process. So across all these studies, one message is clear. Sustainable tourism isn't just about information. It's about consumers' attitudes and behaviors, including internal values, emotional connections, and moral identity within the broader context of consumer behavior. And I did one interesting study about space tourism with my student. One day, one student came to me, asked me to be his mate professor, and at first I wasn't sure about space tourism, and I smiled, thinking, space, really? It was a new context, but if we look at this from consumer behavior, I could help. So we decided to explore seriously through the lens of consumer decision making on using the ground theory. So we actually did a qualitative study, interviewed astronauts, space tourism organizers, academic experts. And our foundation was a constraint effects mitigation model, which looks at tourism motivation and barriers and how they people manage them. So based on our interviews, and we found that the negotiation process is an important one. So we actually expanded the original framework by adding the negotiation process, and we propose a new conceptual model for space tourism behaviors. And it was actually published in JTR. And actually, this paper was great a foundation for his dissertation later on. So this project just remind me one of the most important rewarding parts being a researcher is working with graduate students, especially when their fresh ideas lead me somewhere unexpected. I further want to share another great example of my research journey with graduate students. So when I joined Iowa State University, I had zero background of the private club industry. So what is a private club? Dr. Fu, you mentioned like a club in Hongdae, but not like club. We are talking about country clubs, yacht clubs, city clubs. That
Actually.
is exclusive membership-based space where privacy is a key. So because of that exclusivity, they are largely understudied in hospitality academia. So during my first year at Iowa State University, one graduate student knocked on my door and asked me to be his major professor. His name is Jim Butler, and he was a general manager of a country club in Florida. He began discussing club operations, like a member satisfaction, loyalty, experience, and I will admit, I had no idea what he was talking about. But as he spoke more and more, it clicked. The behavior of club members that he described group, say like group identity, emotional commitment, loyalty, remind me of my research on K-pop fan club and club membership. So our membership, that unexpected connection sparked my curiosity. So I said yes. So his dissertation focused on club member behavior, including motivation, perceived value, satisfaction, place attachment, and loyalty. So we ended up published some papers together based on his research. Then after he graduated, he became the CEO of Club Benchmarking, including one of the top consulting firms in the United States. So until now, actually, we continue on collaborating on club research and industry reports together. Then later, also I integrated some sustainability into club research, examining how clubs approach environmental responsibility and how members respond to it. So I became truly fascinated by the private club industry. It's a space full of potential, complex, nuanced, and full of untapped research opportunities. And one of the greatest joy for me has been collaborating with industry professionals, sharing insights, learning from their experiences, and building research together, which is really important in practice. So that's what led me to found the Club Research Lab at Iowa State University. So when I found the lab in 2020, I simply wanted to connect academia with the real needs of private club industry. I didn't really imagine it would grow the way it has now, but over time, the lab has become important hub where faculty, graduate students, and professionals come together to explore critical topics like member behavior, F&B, like sustainability, and economic impact. So I collaborate with industry leading organizations like CMA, Club Management Association in America, National Club Association, and Club Benchmarking. So through these partnerships, I secured over 20,000 external funding, published 7 peer-reviewed journal articles, 11 industry articles, and delivered more than 20 presentations. So this entire journey began with one curious student and turned into a thriving, impactful research stream. So let me share one example of kind of work we do at Club Research Lab, especially in collaboration with our industry partners. One major project was with the National Club Association, where we explored value co-creation in private clubs. So it was the first academic study to look at how club members co-create value, not just through services, but through interaction with the staff, boards, and each other. So we conducted interviews and nationwide surveys and found psychological ownership is critical for members' value co-creation, attitudes, and behaviors. And also, like fellowship or friendship are an important factor in leading value co-creation. So through the funded project, we led industry publication, publishing a peer-reviewed journals and articles as well. Another project tackled how private clubs are responding to shifting demographics, digital transportation, and expectations of a younger generation, especially post-pandemic, and by working with the gym and my current students. And a great example of high-impact collaboration is Private Club Economy Impact Project that we did last year. This is really, I feel very honored to lead. So it all started with a conversation. president of National Club Association asked me, can we study economic impact of private clubs? Now you know my research focus is consumer behavior, not economics, right? But instead of saying no, I saw potential. So I reached out to two outstanding collaborators. You may know Dr. Jinan Kim from Iowa State University of Florida and Dr. Soyo Park from Florida Atlantic University, based on their expertise. So together, we built a research team and conducted a 2-year project in partnership with the CMA, NCA, and club benchmarking. So our first challenge was there was no comprehensive database for private clubs in the United States. So we had to create one identifying, database. So, by working together, we identified and organized about 5,000 clubs nationwide. Then from there, we analyzed economic impact contribution to the industry. So the results were eye-opening, and we shared our findings at major industry conferences, and the response was incredible. So I'd like to share a short video that highlights this study. It's about 3 minutes long.
A landmark study reveals a story of profound impact, one that highlights the significant role private clubs play in shaping economies across the United States. In 2023, private clubs collectively generated $32.6 billion in direct revenue, supported a $17.4 billion payroll, and provided employment for 573,000 individuals. These numbers underscore the pivotal role of private clubs as vital economic engines within their local communities. With approximately 5,659 private clubs across the country, ranging from golf and country clubs to yacht and racket clubs, their economic influence is undeniable. Within their local areas, private clubs are more than exclusive social hubs. They are job creators and community builders. From seasonal roles to full-time careers, these clubs offer flexible employment, benefiting workers while contributing $17.4 billion in payroll, including $14.6 billion in wages and $2.8 billion in taxes and benefits. To put this in perspective, the private club industry employs more people than major corporations like FedEx, UPS, and Marriott. But the impact doesn't stop there. Private clubs drive indirect economic activity in related industries: food service supplies, uniforms, laundry and linen, clothing, sports equipment, utilities, insurance, services such as construction and trades, capital equipment, while employee spending amplifies benefits in local communities. The impact is felt throughout the country. Regionally, the South boasts the largest concentration of clubs, driven by states like Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. Altogether, the total economic impact reaches $157 billion in revenue, $65 billion in payroll, and 1.5 million jobs. This groundbreaking research, led by Professor SoJung Lee, PhD of Iowa State University, and Ray Cronin, founder of Club Benchmarking, emphasizes the extraordinary influence of private clubs on our economy. Private clubs are not just a place for recreation. They are catalysts for economic activity, employment, and community sustainability.
Okay, so
Okay, got questions about
yes.
this one. Probably like the clubs, the terms is quite different from yours and ours. The people when say when we talking about club in the younger generation, they talking about probably the club in Hongdae and dancing and night.
Okay.
it's a, and my age probably nightclub, and their age is a club in Hongdae or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And probably in Europe, in England, they are probably soccer club and some of it's a golf club is a bit different style of the American golf club uh, in UK. So probably just a point of American perspective about a club is you may understanding and sharing the concept of that club in America only. But how about the other country? Is it shareable the meaning of the common sense in worldwide?
As you mentioned that probably European countries club is kind of similar as the golf industry actually started in Europe. So I think clubs are more kind of similar to what we do in the United States. Um, and I think the reason that you think it's very different when people think about clubs in Korea or Asian countries, because I know that golf industry really huge in Korea, but mostly when you are a member of a golf club, then I think it's more likely just golf, not really have strong membership perspectives. But here in the United States, when you say a private club, not only about the golf clubs, but there are so many different events they actually host, and also different amenities like swimming pool, say, or yacht club or tennis. Like a lot of things happens in a country like club setting. So and their privacy is really important. So like everyone has like membership. So then they have kind of a sense of ownership. That's why actually I studied how the sense of ownership is important when they have a membership. So I think I really understand the differences, the concept of clubs between Korea and United States.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so this project was kind of, I would say, it really broke new ground in showing the economic impact of private clubs in the United States. And actually, National Club Association, who actually started ask these questions, if we can do it, it was a good advocate how private club is not only for their members, but actually they really help the industry creating more jobs. So it actually was able to use those information when they talk to the government, how private clubs make a big contribution to the economy. And it really brought me, the importance of interdisciplinary team, colleagues from different university and also national associations through the collaborations. And based on research that I do with the club industry, I actually had the opportunity to open my eyes to something different that I haven't thought about. So, the Jim Butler, the CEO of the company, one day he told me, shared about the status of the clubs. He says that F&B, food and beverage sectors, their satisfaction score is like a lowest score compared to other amenities like golf or like a sports, fitness. Restaurant, they're working so hard, but somehow their score, like satisfaction score, is very low. So he wants to know why. So then I suggest that then why don't we do some interviews to find out. So we did interviews with the club managers, chef, and members. And what we found was quite surprising. Members were talking about the importance of F&B, such as personalization, customization, proactive service. However, the club benchmarking, for example, when they do survey, they actually use traditional survey questions like you probably heard about SERP, right? They checking like responsiveness, reliability, empathy, but nothing about personalization, customizations. So when you go to a restaurant, then you order a menu, right? That's it. But in private club, the menu is just a suggestion. So it means members can expect customization. So today I want to have a low carb menu or low sodium, any substitutions and more. Whatever the member wants to, then they can try to make it to meet their needs. And also beyond the food, so about relationships. So staff know the members by name. So when you enter the restaurants, the clubs, they know you. They greet you by your name. And they remember where you sat. And they offer proactive service that feels personal and very warm. But the old survey had no such questions. They completely missed out. So actually, working with them, making new framework to measure club FM scale, and also further looking at experience scale development. So based on what we found, actually, Jim Butler is here, and myself and other general managers. We actually shared our findings at the CMA World Conference with about 2,000 club managers. So I thought a privilege of presenting our findings, working with the industry professionals. So it was kind of powerful moment, not just sharing the ideas or data, but helping the industry ask better questions and understand what truly drives satisfactions from our studies. So after all these experiences, I began asking myself a deeper question: what truly defines member experience? And I realized that the answer wasn't just about amenities. It's about experiences that are exclusive, personalized, customized, and proactive. So that's when it hit me that this is luxury. And I found the connection between club and luxury through the F&B studies. And I became curious, what does a luxury really mean in hospitality? So how is it different from traditional business? So I conducted a literature review comparing perspectives from hospitality and business. So what I found was a gap in between differences, but also tremendous opportunity to redefine luxury through a human-centered lens. So we are entering new era in today's social media-driven world. Consumers are craving something more, experiences that are rare, unique, and Instagram-worthy. But in a world where AI automation handles the basic, the real premium will place on what can be automated, like anticipating needs, personalizing experiences, creating emotional connections, offering warmth and creativity. One book that truly resonates with me is called Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Guidara. I'm not sure if you heard about it, but it was a really big hit in hospitality areas. It really emphasized that today's service economy, how you make people feel matter more than the product itself. So he calls for going beyond reasonable to offer service that is human, generous, and deeply memorable. So that message really stuck with me. As scholars and educators need to lead the way in redefining luxury. And that's the path I'm now following, studying luxury experiences and how hospitality and tourism can evolve to meet these changing expectations. That's not just the future of luxury, but that's actually the future of hospitality and tourism. That's what I see.
Okay, my
So,
question I have here,
sure.
like what I asked previously, the types of club bit different from America and England. So I was in England 1 year, and I hit the ball every week, and I'm so surprising the English club in convention center there, and family together, and then events, and the people are pretty much gathering with a very nice meal. So is when I was in America,
Mhm.
I just went to the golf club,
Mhm.
and they which they're just providing the quite good level of F&B, but just a hamburger or something.
Mhm.
So that was I felt that time is just providing the F&B for player in golf club. It's not rather than events. But when I was in the UK, they using the club for family events, convention center, and food and beverage, the luxurious restaurant.
Mhm.
So it's just my personal experience in that which cannot be common
Mhm.
one. Uh, so. But from your slide, I kind of find out the social, the gathering and the convention in local people. So, what do you think about that? Is it because of a different of the business style in America, or you don't consider that aspect that time?
Well, I think one of the reason, as I mentioned that I think as you mentioned, like social aspects are very important. And I think I don't know what types of country club or golf club you visited,
Mm.
but in general, when I'm talking about these types of club is private membership club means with if you do not have the membership, you are
Mhm.
not able to use it.
Okay.
So I guess I'm guessing that what you used was more public club rather than a private club.
Right, right.
So in private club setting, yes, social interactions and relationship is so important. And there are so many events every week. They are hosting different types of events. And since pandemic, no, actually even pandemic, even before, I would say from early say 2010, like around the 2010, there are a big shift in the club industry. Before it was male oriented. So, only men, there's less facilities for female, like wife. But I would say more than 10 years ago, they're starting a shift, more focusing on family oriented and woman oriented. So they actually making more family friendly facilities such as more pools. And you probably know that pickleball is a big trend nowadays in America. I guess that's also in Korea. So they're changing a lot. So they actually welcome not only male, but also family, younger kids. And with social media and actually after pandemic, I would say younger generation actually get into the club industry as they are more flexible because now they can work remotely and they make more money than before. So actually, there are a lot of changes happens in the club industry right now. Mhm. Okay,
Yes, yes. Thank you.
thank you. So what I'm going to do now is I'm summarizing my research journey here.
Mm.
So, my research journey began with a focus on food and nutrition. That curiosity soon expanded into food tourism, exploring how business travelers do a low-carb diet, how that impacted the tourism industry through the connection of food. Then by capturing the impact of celebrity on tourism, I focused on pop culture tourism through the connection of tourism.
Mhm.
And within pop culture tourism, I focused on fan behavior, travel, how fans travel across the countries for concert, events, or destination.
Mhm.
Through the connection of fans. From there, my work even expanded into consumer behavior more broadly in tourism settings such as rural and sustainable tourism through the connection of behavior.
Mhm.
That foundation brought me into world of private clubs by identifying the similarity between fan members and club members, exploring club member behavior such as value co-creation and loyalty. And through F&B projects in clubs, my research is moving to luxury experiences.
Mm.
So across this journey, from food to pop culture, from fans to members, club to luxury, this is my research story, and it continues to grow. And hopefully, my research journey now makes sense to you. Okay, so
Okay.
now I'm wrapping
Mm.
my story, my research journey, and I would like.
We move before we move. I want to review your journey a
Mhm.
little bit. Uh,
Don't be
very
critical.
not critical. It's a fancy food tourism fan behavior member and F&B. Wow. You know what? These days I work with my students. Talking. I'm not the researcher of that FMB field, but you know the people are these days everybody using the platform such
Mhm.
as Yelp in America and the TripAdvisor and some of the particular food platform service. So I we pretty much refer to the platforms text online review the customer who has experience there. But that is quite typical in these days. But these days, I am quite interested in the Korean dining experience in an international country, but by not but by Korean native, but the native in that country. For example, people who are in the Copenhagen in Denmark,
Mhm.
and I went to the Samgyeopsal trip that time, and the only white native, Denmark Danish people, and the
Mhm.
serving by the Danish people, and but they are sharing the Korean culture like Poktanju. They asked me, "Oh, you want to Poktanju?" So I said, "Wow." The one the college lady, the girls, she was the waitress that time, and they asked me, "Do you want soju poktanju?" So I said, "Wow." And I enjoyed the Carlsberg with soju poktanju uh, in Copenhagen. And I these days, okay, probably the people who experience Korean food in international and native international in their country, probably they share the Korean culture in their language, not the Korean, cultural language,
Mhm.
but they will have something foundational cultural Korean, the language and sharing with their Danish people to Danish people.
Mhm.
So this is my hypothetical uh, assumption. They probably will share the between or within the in Danish to Danish about the Korean concept, like poktanju sort of things. But and they will use the different tasty in Danish people and in Danish language. So it's like we said, okay, commonly said, okay, Korean food is spicy food or something like that. It's a common keyword. But probably they will use their tongues about their tongues or their mother tongues about Korean food. So that is the curious point to what I have these days, and so I collecting data from that, the TripAdvisor and the Yelp, located in US, in Europe, and in UK, and France, wherever, and I collecting data only by French people leave a message, not leave in for the French, but the Korean food, and I want to analyze the language from them about a specific Korean food, like a samgyeopsal, like a kimchi jjigae and doenjang jjigae, and how they describe the Korean food between those people. That is my project these days with my students. So what do you think about that?
It's quite interesting. I think definitely the cultural perspectives should be reflected in the study. So I don't know how many countries we are looking for, but I think that definitely there are some different cultures, cultural experiences will be there. And even though the same food they try, but what they're going to describe going to be different, and that will actually reflected by their cultural perspectives. So it would be interesting to see how, how their responses, are different for the same kind of food. So yes, I think definitely cultural, perspectives would be an important moderator in describing their experiences. Yeah.
Yes.
Good. I think as the Korean food is getting popular and popular, I think that that kind of study, looking at different perspectives from different culture, quite important, and eventually that may help the industry to promote Korean food in different ways.
So it's like a language is expression about their feeling. Okay, so feeling arousal from that food experience. But anyway, that international native the citizens enjoy Korean food in their country, and it's not caused by Korea culture affection, I mean influence from Korea. They're inner within influence each other. But probably they will use the shared concept and language between them. But we don't know exactly what kind of a language and smells of language they're using. But we just only know that, okay, they said, oh, Korean food is spicy, and we said, oh, kimchi is spicy, something is there's a so simple, so naive. So I want to dig into that, how they describe the Korean food, which is now becoming popular and popular. The point of American perspective, European perspective, and probably Indonesian perspective, they are all different perspective toward a certain specific Korean food, which is now becoming, typically generally popular in the world.
Yeah, definitely. As you mentioned, like in terms of food, how you describe food, there are different perspectives like a taste, texture, smell. So all different perspectives, and also like environmental perspectives, like atmosphere, music. All different kinds can be also influenced in how they are actually matched with their culture. So I think so many different things could be intertwined in their responses. But yeah, hopefully there will be some findings consistently different by different cultures. Yeah, so looking forward to hearing the research. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm, mhm. Okay, so I have a few more slides to move on. So I'm wrapping my story of my research journey, and I'd like to shift into lessons that I have learned along the way. So before I do that, I want to pause. I want to pause for a while and hear from you based on everything that I've shared so far, my story, the turning point, challenges, themes. Could you take a moment to type in the chat box one thing that you took away from it? Now, it could be a word, feeling, a lesson, or keyword that stood out to you. There is no right or wrong answer, but anything's fine. I will give you like 30 seconds and love to hear what it comes to your mind. Okay. You can just simply type into the chat box. Don't be shy. No, I'm not going to critique. Just anything that you think that you learned or surprising. A simple keyword is fine. I say resilience is one word. Working hard person. Okay. Proudly life. You. What about from students? Okay, perseverance. Thank you. Impressive. Diverse. Okay. Inspire, relatable, interesting, learn having diverse interests isn't bad at all. Okay. Great. Thank you all for sharing your thoughts and through the keywords. So I think that there are some words that I use in my next slides. Okay, so let's begin with the first one. So what we experience entirely, like either good or bad, is part of process to grow. So looking back, my personal story, I can clearly see how those early moments of uncertainty and disruption shaped who I am today. Like from IMF crisis, I gained a variety of work experiences, which ultimately led me toward the field of hospitality and management. And when my job was canceled after my master's, I didn't give up, but I chose to see as a sign to pursue my PhD. And even when there was no opportunity from World Cup, I created the opportunity by speaking up and open my eyes to the world of tourism. So these seasons of uncertainty taught me how to be flexible and how to keep moving forward and how to endure the tours that didn't make sense at the time. So even hardest experiences helping me grow, shaping not just my career path, but how I see the world. So I learned trust the process, and even when it was difficult to unclear. So I want to encourage you, if you are in a tough season, if things are not coming together yet, don't give up and keep going. It's part of your learning process and it's meaningful. And there's saying that I like, if we can avoid it, enjoy it. I hope whatever stage you are in the right now, you find ways to enjoy the process of becoming who you are meant to be later on. And let's talk about your research topic. During my PhD, I faced many challenges, juggling coursework, family life, raising two kids. But what kept me going was simple. I genuinely enjoyed doing research. So that joy became my anchor. So my thesis came from everyday's conversation about diet and travel, and dissertation sparked by creative fans. And these may not be grand ideas from textbooks, but more from the observation from real life, what I heard, what I felt, what I was curious. So the same is true for you. So your research topic may already be around you, but you just haven't named it yet. So as a promising scholar, your role is to take lived experiences and examine them through the theoretical and critical lens. That's where your training comes in, through classes, your reading, writing, and reflecting. And when you do that, your work becomes not just rigorous, but deeply personal and meaningful. So don't underestimate what is already within you. Your job is to shape with purpose, and you are the author of your research story. So there is a phrase I love, be passionate about what you do or get out. It's a little bit bold, but it's true. Follow what you moves you, not what trendy or what others says to you, because the passion is what gives your research depth, energy, and life, and it's what makes your work matter and keep you going. And one of the most meaningful lessons that I've learned through my research journey is the power of collaboration. Many key moments in my research have come not from working alone, but by partnering with others, students, industry professionals, and colleagues from other different disciplines. While I have led many of them, but I did together with them. So it was often my students, partners from industry or faculty. So for example, the club economy impact study was only possible because I teamed up with colleagues and industry professionals. So this collaboration sparked creativity and taught me flexibility. And they remind me that we each bring unique piece to puzzle. And when bring those pieces together, we don't just complete a picture, but we create something entirely new, even better. So collaboration in research, multiple insights. So I encourage you, seek out people who think differently, work with those who challenge you sometimes, and don't be afraid to build something that's greater than you could do alone. Because in the end, the most powerful research and the most meaningful growth comes from collaboration with others. Okay, so I have a question here. So what do you see in this picture? What do you, that tricky question. What do you see here?
It's Japan, enjoyable life.
Okay, okay. What figure actually do you see here? Monkey, right?
Yeah.
And what else?
Train.
Monkey, train. It's not a difficult question, don't worry.
Okay. Mm.
Banana, apple,
Mhm.
mountain,
Mhm.
right?
Mm.
Can you guess what this picture is about? Does any song comes to mind?
Mm.
Yeah, I think Julia Kim. What is it? He says it's a song. So what is it? Can you guess the song name?
No, maybe uh,
Unjin, Imunjin, I see you here. So can you guess what it is? Hmm. Yeah, right. Thank you. So the answer
원숭이
is
엉덩이.
원숭이 엉덩이를 빨개, right? Right? I don't know. We have many of do we have international students here? Right? I don't know if you heard about it, but actually for international students, I actually prepared a song um, about this on if you have heard about this song before, you can take a moment to enjoy it. It may take you back to your childhood. Okay, I'm gonna play it.
We cannot hear. Please turn on the
Okay, so Dr. Cool. What did you say?
cannot hear the voice, the sounds.
You couldn't hear well? Okay, I can play one more time, but I'm not sure if I can actually volume up. But and I hope that everyone understands this song. So basically, this song talk about the monkey, apple, banana, train, no, an airplane, and the mountain, right? But here, what is important in this song is the connections. It was read the connecting between the monkey and apple, and then tasty between apple and banana, and long banana and train, and fast train and airplane, and high train that connects um, airplane and mountain. So what I want to say here is that each element links to the next, creating a sequence. Is make a story, right? So do you remember the first visual that I showed you here? It looks scattered, like random circles with no clear directions. That's how research can feel sometimes, disconnected, isolated, like a separate project without a common thread. But over time and through intentional reflection, I learned the connection those dots. The same themes that once felt separate, food, tourism, fandom, club, luxury, now tell a story. Not just a timeline, but actually it's narrative. So if you're sitting here today feeling like your research doesn't have that clear picture yet, don't worry. Honestly, even after 30 years now, I'm still building mine. And actually, that make me feel a little bit old though. But that's the truth. Some moments you may feel uncertain. Some topics may not be seem out of place. But one day, you will look back and say, that's what I did that. You will see the bigger picture, not from within the forest, but actually above. And it will all make sense later. So a story is with connections and with logic. And that's the heart of storytelling in research. And that's when research becomes powerful. And that's when it becomes yours. So now I will leave you with the final question. So what is your story and how will you connect those pieces? Whether your story just started or you are in the middle of a chapter that doesn't quite make sense yet, just keep going to craft your own story. Your story is your own. Don't copy, don't compare, but listen to your heart. And one day, I hope you will share your story too. So, because at the end, research is storytelling, that I will say. Okay. So, preparing this presentation, this is actually the first time I have shared my full story. I'm here not to impress you, but I'm here to encourage you. And I hope you enjoy doing your research, having fun. So thank you so much about your participations and attendance today. And I'm happy to take any questions.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, students, if you have any questions for Professor Lee, you may ask any question to her. Or you can practice your English. Go.
Thank you, Professor, for your the lecture. I really enjoyed it so much, and today's topic felt like the missing connecting dots for me personally because I'm in such chaotic position and lost. And I'm a second semester master's student and just getting started with my thesis. But what's after your story about your personal journey, I liked it so much because it felt so relatable and so real, which gives more comfort to students who are just starting. Usually, when we listen to professors or researchers, it feels like we cannot reach that, and it's so out of reach, so hard to get there. But your story gives us so much of reality and that sense of relatability, and also your interests are so similar, if not identical to mine, which was like, that's why I was very impressed. I'm having a little bit of trouble with having so much like diverse interests because it makes me confused. And usually we're told to focus on one thing so we can start it and like be experts in it. And I've never heard another perspective that says you can do it all, but you just have to find the connection element between them. But my question is just since I'm having different like interests, how do you suggest we start with which one do you think any advice about how to start or what like how can we pick the first topic?
So could you share a little bit more about context? What are you interested in right now?
So many diverse, like I said, it's very identical. Luxury, I'm also interested in consumer behavior, interested in food, but at the same time, hospitality, also medical tourism. And I can't find a way to focus on one thing.
Okay. I think that is very natural when you start to think about, topics, when you read the papers, oh, I like it, but then I read a different paper, oh, this is good ideas. And when I talk to people, oh, when I see the trend, oh, this is also important. A lot of doubting and questions, it seems everything is important. I think first, I would say in reality, first one important thing is how you can collect data. It can go to the reality because even though you have really, really great ideas, but sometimes you are not really able to collect data. So, you can think about how your, interest actually become actual reality. You can actually do it. I think that could be one important thing. So, based on your research interest, you probably first need to narrow down a little bit, like a smaller scope, because even though, you think you're going to make a really great, contributions, but, your research should start with a smaller scope first. So you probably need to focus on one certain areas. And even though you do one part, it doesn't mean that you're going to stop there. As you saw, the trains, how actually I made progress, you can move to next one. So you probably want to start with a smaller piece that really you are interested in and see how we can actually move on through data collections and analysis. So, think about, you look at the, see how you are going to collect data as well. Hope that helps you a little bit.
Thank you.
Next.
So do you actually plan to do your PhD after your master's? I'm just curious. Not yet? Not, yeah.
I'm very tempted personally, but it feels like a long, hard journey. I hope to finish first master's successfully and think about it.
Sure. Yeah. I think having experiences in industry is so important because it really shaped your research ideas in a more critical, more concrete ways. So I really support the ideas to having some more experiences in the industry that really help you. Because eventually what we are doing as a researcher is not only for academia, but actually helping contributing the industry. So the question that you're going to bring is not only from your own brain, your ideas, actually by talking to industry people and see what is the real problems. The real problem actually is what you need to do as a researcher. So I really encourage you to think about working in industry or having more conversations with the industry people. Because many times as a researcher, even though we do research, we just talk about things which just within us. And when I talk to industry people, oh, it's not true. This is not, it doesn't make sense. So I think it is important to actually have their, reflect the practical perspectives into your study. It is important. So I really truly encourage you to, having some good industry experiences.
Okay. Anyone?
I hope my presentation was too difficult. Was not too difficult.
I don't want to point out who, but I
Okay,
will.
so you have questions. Yeah, you can type in. So yeah, anyone can just type your question in chat box. Okay, so the question is about research methodology. Any tips for studying research methodology? Well, as I mentioned that, no, I mean, yeah, I'm more like quantitative researcher, so I do more surveys, and I'm looking at the relationships as you saw, my presentation articles, looking at, A to B, B to C, that kind of relationships using structured equation modeling. So definitely I have used it quite a lot. But I, as you know, also conducted some interviews. So when I did my PhD, I took some PhD courses, not only quantitative but also qualitative. So I took interviews, qualitative class that actually shaped me my research directions. So as I shared a little bit about the pop culture, stars destination image shaping, how that impact. Actually, after I took a qualitative research class, I applied that what I learned to actually interview and analyzing data. So during my PhD. So as a students here, you have a lot of lots of great courses in your universities or even online. So once you know more and more methodologies, then your perspectives, the way to analyze data, the way to solve the problem will be really different. And there's no single one answer which is better than best. It could be a little bit better, but having more diverse backgrounds in using data analysis will help you to look at the problems different ways. So taking lots of classes, and this is the only opportunities that you can do as a student. Once you graduate, then you are more likely advised other students as a professor. So you take full advantage as a student to take a lot of different classes, read books, so that will help you to have different backgrounds so you can apply it. And but methodology is methodology. It's not going to shape your research directions, which means your research ideas should come first, and then see which methodology is more better than the others. So you have to be able to determine which methodology you're going to use. And as I mentioned that when I work on the text-based study about the elephant study, I was not expert at all because, this is new areas, but I actually collaborated with those who are in expert. So that's why the collaboration is also important because each, scholar has different, strong parts. So by understanding others' expertise and having, working together, it could be a good synergy effect. So that is another tip later on, because with the AI, new technologies, data analytics, I cannot do everything, right? But having knowing people around you are experts can actually expand your research areas, having diverse research methodology. And as I mentioned again, don't be afraid to reach out to those who are in experts and working together. I think that would be an important way that you can expand your research directions. Okay, thank you for that question. Hopefully I answered to your question.
Usually master degree students, they have not much knowledge of methodology, and they just are starting to what methodology imply for, and academic advisors just guide them to do what to do, and then bring it to the result using of some statistical different type of method. But
Sure.
like Professor Lee and me, quite a long academic career here, so we have many students under our supervision. So even though we are not quite good at in detail the software, but we can ask to our students to do what to do and how to do using different type of methodology and sort of things. But the methodology is quite kind of a accumulation, skillful, the experience. So once you got experience, and then accumulate that experience and knowledge, and then move forward another one. So at the end of your master, I think you just finish one methodology incompletely, but slightly some part, and then as times you research and research it repeated, then probably you will be an expert of a certain, you know.
So just curious, like in this class, how many of you are actually master students and PhD students? Is it mixed or only master students?
It's a mixed.
Mixed. Okay.
And a mixed from a master degree and a PhD degree and other discipline, such as management and such as social science, even geographic. And last year, there some Eastern medical students, physics. That's a surprise.
Okay.
This course is open for Kyunghee University.
Okay, great. Diverse students here. Great.
Any other questions from student side? Just speak out. Don't hesitate. Yeah. Okay.
Just out of curiosity, could you tell us a little bit more about your experience in the World Cup?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, I joined World Cup as a protocol manager. So I dealt with a VIP from World Cup, like delegates. So my main job was like hotel operations. So we had like venue hotels like Hyatt, Hilton, like there are two main hotels, and also I managed the volunteers from everywhere because even though English was like official language, but we have a lot of different delegates, and also we actually work with the Hiddink, the coach. So students like volunteers are from everywhere, from Netherlands, like Australia. So I managed them and also developed kind of for like guidebook for VIP delegates. And also we sometimes flew to actual games for like managing the operations. So in our departments, we may basically work in three different areas, which is airport, hotel, and stadiums. And my main job was a hotel, but sometimes I have to go to different places to move on. And it was so much fun as the World Cup was so much success. So we thought, we are not going to win, maybe one or two times, but we were really going up and up and up. So every time it was so excited, and I was really, very fortunate and very grateful, to be there as a part of it. Yeah.
When Professor Lee was relatively not young, but relatively, but early 30s.
Early 30? No,
late 20s.
It was actually before 30, I would say.
Okay,
Yeah,
late
it was
30s.
before 30. Yeah, before I go to United States. So I was quite young.
Quite enthusiasm there and dreaming there and energy there.
Yeah. I never regretted that I worked for, I challenged the director to hire me, and I found it. I got it. It was one of the best moment that I did.
Yes. Good. Wow. Okay. Sanyul, you have any questions?
Professor, can I give a question later for email?
Sure. Yeah, even though you have no question at this point, feel free to reach out to me. I think Dr. Ku will probably share my information. So anytime if you have any questions. And also, actually, because I'm the director of graduate education for hospitality management in our program. So, anybody who's interested in PhD program as you are either master's or PhD, I don't know if you're going to actually interested in master's program, but if you're interested in PhD, I'm the person that you guys need to contact. So, and also our program also have not only on campus program, but also distance program. So, if anyone actually want to pursue a PhD through a distance program, which means you don't have to come to the United States, but you can actually take classes through Zoom or like asynchronous or synchronous online format. And so it's kind of flexible. And I was quite successful. As I mentioned that my first PhD student was a general manager and he was working in Florida. But I made, the journey very successfully and, got a PhD. So our PhD program, distance program was quite successful. And mostly, we have domestic students, which means American students in different states, but we are actually reaching out to international students as well. So if any of you are interested in doing PhD, but not really able to travel, then and you have to work, then our distance PhD program could be an option for you. So if you are ever interested in being PhD students later on or pursuing your PhD, in the United States, our school could be one option for you. So if you have any questions about our program, yeah, feel free to let me know.
Okay, well, very good. From student side, they don't probably they have many questions inside, but as you know, the students are not much actively asking to professors in class, especially in class. This is not a matter of the Koreans, it's a matter of all students in the world. They don't want to talk to professor in class because the battlefield is, they think as a professor, they get the power and more powerful than them. So they're afraid to speak out in front of the professors. We don't, but anyway. Okay, thank you. Let's make a short, little bit ending of our seminar. Once again, thank you very much for participating from the long distance, but very short virtual distance. And Professor SoJung Lee, and one of the pioneering in food and beverage and club field, and also Professor Lee actively producing very good academic journal publication in our field. So I also refers to her papers as well. And I look forward to see you again in a conference or in Korea. And also I am thankfully to assist me that Journal of Smart Tourism and the conference as well. Hopefully someday will be a good index journal.
Yeah, will be. So thanks
Okay.
again for having me today. I'm really grateful to be here today. And what I shared today will give opportunity for everyone to think about, what's going to be your research and think about your research story later on, like maybe 10 years, 20 years later. Hopefully you can remember that. Okay, thank you all and enjoy your springtime over there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. 감사합니다. 고생하셨습니다.
네, 감사합니다.